people, so Simplicity just dropped the new fall patterns, and I don't know how I want to feel about them yet, but let's go ahead and talk about it, shall we? So if that's some content you would like to see, please continue to watch. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Rochelle from Rochelle.Handmade.Designs. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the new Simplicity fall drop. Okay, so there's 30 patterns in this one that starts at 3,000 to 3030, or maybe 3031. Don't quote me, okay? And it's not many that your girl's going to be picking up, but I'm going to share the collection with you, share which patterns look like a previous pattern, because you guys know what I do. And I think that when I drop these videos, I'll literally be in a tussle with a lot of you guys, because some of them just look alike. My job is to help you save money, right? I want to keep my coins. Do you? But let's go ahead and get into it. But if you are new to the channel, welcome. Hello, Ciao, Guten, Aloha, Hola, Konnichiwa, Gwaan, Sabonani, Shalom, Bonjour, Terve. If you're returning, you guys know what to do. Quick snack, something to drink. Of course, grab the notebooks to take down notes of which one you want to pick up. So I'm just gonna put it like this. If you don't know today, you might want to do it today after this video. Don't walk, don't bike, don't skip, don't hop, but run to simplicity.com so you can score it. Listen, I said it the other day. Actually, it was yesterday, on Thursday, when I said that right now, Simplicity has a sale going on for $4.99 on Simplicity and McCall's. And you get free shipping if you spend $25 or more. This will include the new patterns that just dropped today. Once again, today, not tomorrow, not last week, but today. So it includes these patterns. So I'm telling you right now, run over to Simplicity. Actually have my video going while you have another tab for simplicity.com, and make sure you take notes. All right, let's go ahead and get into the first pattern, but go ahead and grab something to drink while you're looking at this video. First pattern, 3,000. Now, this pattern reminds me of a Vogue pattern. Now, you guys know I just sat down and I'm doing this right out of coming in the door. Okay, so I don't remember the entire pattern numbers, but if I could figure it out during the editing process, you guys know I will put it up on the screen. But it is a Vogue pattern as well as a Simplicity pattern. I think it's Simplicity 8292, if I remember correctly. It's a Simplicity pattern. I can tell you that, because your girl, you know, your girl don't miss with these patterns. And like I mentioned, it's a repeat. So let's get into this pattern. So Simplicity 3000 is a fitted dress with wide flared sleeves. It has vertical seams, invisible zipper, and a cape effect back. Now, with that cape effect back, that's why it makes it look different. And I like that cape back for this one. However, the front looks like a pattern. 8292, I think, is the Simplicity pattern number. The only difference is that cape effect in the back. Also, this features a self-made belt, or you can purchase the belt. View B and View C have the front slit, and this one also features separate pattern pieces for both View B and View C. It also features cup sizes as well, which a lot of us women who are more full bust. Now, I'm not saying that I'm full bust, but sometimes I do what I have to do, a full bust adjustment. I just never shared that with you guys on the channel, simply because I'm going to tell you that if you ask me, would I do a tutorial for a full bust adjustment? There's so many out there where I feel like you could go to one of those videos. I'm going to tell you a good one that you could use is Chris from Unsocial. She has a full bust adjustment video. That is great. And it's very similar to how I do my full bust adjustment. So you could go there and see that. It's not many patterns where I have to do a full bust adjustment. So I will not, I can tell you, I will not be doing a full bust adjustment sew along video for you guys, or a full video for that as well. But it does have cup sizes from A all the way to double D for this pattern. In terms of pattern sizing, it is an average pattern. All the patterns come in either PDF or paper pattern for that. Let's talk about sizing. So in terms of sizing, it's 2 pattern envelopes. The first pattern is 10 to 18 and the second one is 20 to 28 for this pattern. And you know, I like this pattern. I would make the one that the model is wearing, which is view A for this pattern. But once again, it's Simplicity 3000. All of these are Simplicity patterns, so I'm just going to say the pattern number. Let's get into the next pattern, which is 3001. And this one features an easy to sew pattern. So the skill level is easy. It features a V-neck dress with front and back gathers. It has front keyhole opening with self ties. It also features long sleeves with elastic, side seam pockets, length variation, and optional self tie belt. So for this one reminds me of a pattern that many of the ladies sewed. I think the pattern dropped like early spring 2023. It is a Simplicity pattern, 9569, I think. Actually, I'm just gonna put it up on the screen. Now, it is a top, it is not a dress. I feel like it's similar. It might be the same one, to be honest, but it's one where there's an African American girl on it. There's a tie in the front. I'm picturing it right now. I think the number is 6569. I'm sorry, 9569, but I will put it up on the screen to share with you which one I think is similar to this. I like the fact that it has the elastic sleeves. I like it, but I think I would pass on this one as well. So the first one, I am going to pick up 3000. This one, I think I'm going to pass on. I just don't feel like this one would be one that I need in my wardrobe. And of course, if I could just hack another pattern to get the same thing, there's no need for me to pick it up because I'm trying to save my coins in 2024 and beyond. All right. But let's talk about the pattern sizing. So it comes in 2 envelopes. First envelope is 8 to 16. Second envelope is 18 to 26 for this one. Now, I know I forgot to share the fabric, but let's get into the fabric used for this one. So in terms of fabric for 3001, you can use any type of woven fabric, such as your cotton blends, your crepes, your linen blends, pop blends, satin, silky prints, just to name a few in terms of the fabric. All right, but once again, it's 3001. Let's go ahead and get into the next pattern, which is 3002, which is a woman's blouse. Now, this one right here, if you remember that it was a pattern that came out like this just in the last season during the summer drop. Pretty much all the button-down shirts are similar. There's nothing to it but to do it, right? Now, I like this one as well, but it does remind me of a sew-along that I did. Simplicity 9467 is that sew-along. I put it up on the screen and in the description box below so you're able to see that. But I just feel like with this one, here's the thing. A lot of the button-down shirts are pretty much the same. If you make one, you make all, right? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But I like view B on this pattern, which has the conceal placket. View A has the regular buttons, I should say. But this is a button front blouse. It have collar, shaped hem, and sleeves with inverted pleats. It also features the pleats gathers into the button cuff. Like you have that cuff and all the gathers are going to be there, and then you have the band as well. This is an average to sew pattern. So if you're a beginner, I'm not going to tell you to shy away from these patterns, But if you're a true beginner, stick with those beginner patterns, okay? If you more of like an advanced intermediate beginner, then you could try some intermediate patterns, but don't be a full-blown beginner trying to work with a average or intermediate pattern. It will frustrate you, okay? And you'll be reaching out to everyone asking them if they could do a sew along, okay? So I'm just putting it out there. You don't want to be a beginner trying to work on an intermediate pattern like this at the very start. Get some skills, you know, and then venture off into that. All right. But this is 3002. The type of fabrics that you can use is any type of fabric, both cotton. I would say any type of woven, your cottons, for this, your rayons, your challis, your silky prints. You can use any of those fabrics for this one. In terms of sizing, 10 to 18 on the first envelope, and then you have three envelopes. Then the second one is 20W to 28W, and the last one is 30W to 38W. So this is size inclusive for everyone. It can fit everyone. But once again, it's 3002, and yep, your girl will be picking up, okay? And as of the recording of this video, I already ordered, okay, in PDF, and I'll share that with you, which ones I picked up in the upcoming video, because I picked up some other ones as well. Let's get into the next pattern, which is 3003. And this is a Mrs. top. Now, this one, I can't remember the number, but something is telling me that it's McCall's 8110. And when I'm calling these numbers, it may be the incorrect number, but I know it's a 10 at the very end, and I can see the pattern in my head, okay? But this is the easy to sew knit top in 2 lengths. It has sleeves and neckline variations and an invisible back zipper closure. View B has contrast sleeve ruffles as well. Now, one thing that I do like about this pattern is it looks like what the model is wearing. It features a turtleneck. And I like that, okay? So view A and view B have that turtleneck, and then view C just have kind of like your round neck with a neck band. So I like this pattern. However, if you think of Simplicity 9226, which I did a complete sew along for it, it's view A is similar to that. You could lengthen, like pattern hackathon is going on. You could lengthen the freaking sleeves. You could add a, you know, turtleneck, or, you know, to create that turtleneck. You could also add, you know, the ruffles from a different pattern. Like when I say the pattern hackathon is a way for you to hack a lot of these patterns and stop buying patterns. I know we get lazy and just want to buy the pattern and not do that. But I'm telling you, going into 2025, my goal is to hack more patterns and to save my coins, okay? If I know there's a pattern that's similar, I'm just gonna hack it and be good and not have to pick up the pattern. Because these pattern sales are starting to become $2.99, $3.99, $4.99. If you're still looking for the sales of being 99 cents and $1.99, I'm sorry, we passed that in 2024. Most of them are now $2.99 or $4.99. So we gotta get with the program now. But once again, this is 3003. In terms of the fabric, knit fabric, of course, and in terms of pattern sizing for this one, you have 2 envelopes, 6 to 14 on the first one and 16 to 24 on that second envelope. Once again, it's 3003. Let's move over to the next pattern, which is 3004. Now this one is a Mrs. top with sleeve variations. So they rate this one as an easy to sew as well. And with this top, let me say this. This reminds me of the top that I wore that's purple, right? And that pattern is New Look 6668, I believe. However, the only difference is it has pleats. But there is a New Look pattern that's very similar to this. Actually, it's a Butterick pattern too. And I think that pattern number is Butterick 6931, I believe. And there's elastic in the waist area as well. So, I mean, there's many patterns that similar to this. I'm going to give the New Look pattern, but also the Butterick pattern that you could basically save your coins if you really want to with this pattern. But let's get into the description of this pattern. It is an easy to sew top with V-neck. It has elastic at the waistline and a flared hem. So view A top have the sleeveless armhole, which has the finished bias tape at the armhole area. View B top has the long sleeve with cuffs, and then view C is top has the flutter sleeves. So I mean, with view B, what the model is wearing, you can put the cuff on it, you can make it a bishop sleeve, you can put elastic at the sleeve, you can do many things with this. That's why I said be prepared to hack some of these patterns, all right? It's also an easy to sew pattern as well. Now let's go ahead and talk about the pattern sizing. So in terms of the pattern sizing for this pattern, it's 2 envelopes, 6 to 14 and 16 to 24 on that second envelope. So let's talk fabric. So in terms of fabric, once again, it's going to be any of your woven fabrics for this one as well. For the fabrics, you can use cotton, challis, gauze, lightweight linen, shirting, any type of fabric of your choosing for this one. But once again, it's 3004. Let's move over to the next pattern, which is a woman's skirt, which is 3005. So let me go back one. Let me go back a couple of them. So in terms of 3003, I'm not going to be picking that one up. 3004, I probably will skip that one as well because I could just hack a different pattern and get what I'm looking for that one. Let's talk about 3005, which is a woman's skirt. So for the woman's skirt, it is a stylish skirt in knee and mid calf length. It have front and back pleats, self belt, belt loops, invisible side seam zipper, front pockets with flap and top stitching at the hem. It is an average to sew pattern. So let's talk about size. So in terms of sizing, it's 3 envelopes, 10 to 18 on the first one, 20W to 28W on the second one, and 30W to 38W on the last envelope. Let's talk fabric. So in terms of fabric, it's any type of fabric of your choosing, all right? But I think for this one, I'm gonna skip it because it does remind me of a Simplicity pattern from a while ago. I'll put it up on the screen. And I think it's Simplicity 8019 is the pattern number. So let's go ahead and get into the next pattern. So the next pattern is 3006, which is a Mrs. pair of pants. Now, when Brittany J. Jones dropped the kind of like the sneak peek video, I was like, yes, I'm gonna get those pants. You guys know your girl been making lots of pants over the last couple of months because I need pants in my wardrobe. If you don't know, I'm not a girl who wears a lot of jeans. Jeans are not my friend, okay? For a couple of things. Yes, your girl got the bouquet and all of that good stuff, but we are not here for that. However, it's just, y'all know how jeans do in between the thigh area. After it's been worn quite a bit, guess what happens? Your thighs be rubbing and your jeans start getting holes there. So I'm not a fan of a lot of jeans. I don't wear a lot of jeans. Do I have jeans in my wardrobe? Absolutely, but not many, okay? Your girl is more like the dress, the skirts, pants that I can make myself where I know my thighs ain't rubbing with those jeans. You know, you know. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the pattern description. So for this pattern, it's angled front wrap pants. It have a waistband with belt carriers, front fly zipper with hook and bar closure, side seam pockets, and back darts. So for view A, it has the side seams, the belt is sewn into the side seams, and then you also have view B. So I like view B. So with view B is more like your longer length for this one. I like it. So one thing I like on view A, it does have like that self tie, and the self tie is attached to the waistband, which is different. Okay, now one thing I want to mention is belt carriers. So my girl Chris from Unsocial, she has a really good video on, instead of us folding over at the bottom and then stitching on top, she has a good way of doing belt loops. I never thought about doing belt loops the way that Chris from Unsocial does it, but I did it on a pair of pants that I just did, which is coming up on the channel, by the way. But I actually like it her way instead of the old way that I used to do it. But go ahead and check out her video. It's linked in the description box below as well as her handle, both here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. Check her out if you are not doing so already. All right, let's talk about sewing skill level. So it's rated as average. And yes, of course, it's a pair of pants with a fly front zipper. So of course, I'm going to rate it as average to sew. Let's talk about pattern sizing. So in terms of pattern sizing, 2 envelopes. First one is 8 to 16. And the second one is 18 to 26 on the second envelope. Let's talk about fabric. So in terms of fabric for this pattern, of course, any type of woven or structured fabric. You can use your cotton blends, but just know if you use cotton blends, because you guys know sometimes I will use a cotton to test out a pattern and it becomes a wearable muslin. Be prepared. And by the way, with Joann's having a $2.99 sale on broadcloth, this is the best time to test out some fabrics, okay? Make it in solid and you have used some wearable muslins. I'm just saying, all right? But in terms of fabric, you can use cotton blends, you can use linen, you can use twill, you can use stretch wovens. I mean, the fabric options are endless. Choose whatever one that you want, basically, all right? But that is 3006. Let's go ahead and move over to the next pattern. Next pattern is 3007, which is a coat and jacket pattern. Now, this reminds me of a simplicity pattern that came out winter or fall 2022. And I know you guys are like, Rochelle, how in the hell do you remember all of this? Your girl be looking at patterns constantly. I tell you guys the pattern sells every week. So you guys know that your girl be looking at patterns pretty much daily, okay? That's how I'm able to kind of visualize what this pattern looked like. I'm gonna put it up on the screen so you're able to see it because I know it's 97 something, but I can't remember the exact pattern number right off the top of my head. All right, but this is a relaxed fit puffer style coat and jacket. It have a shawl collar, drop shoulders, and front button or snaps closure. So view A have side pockets as well. So to me, I feel like this is only one view, which is view A, but they do have a view B, and view B is just basically a shorter length. So it's just basically length variations for this coat. I like this coat and I feel like I'm gonna pick it up as well. But once again, this is 3007. Let's go ahead and talk about the skill level. So the skill level, of course, is average to sew. Why? Because this coat, it has buttons that you're gonna need to do. Now, it only comes in one pattern envelope, which is extra small to extra, extra large for this one. Now, you guys know in terms of fabric, let's go ahead and talk about fabric, shall we? So in terms of fabric for this one, you can use suede, denim, microfiber, nylon, poplin, rainwear fabric, sateen, just to name a few. Now, it calls for inner lining of fleece. Now, before you ask me, Rochelle, can you use fleece for this one? I will. Why not? Why not? Why not? And make it look fabulous. And fleece is on sale right now for $3.99 at Joann's. So your girl may be picking up some fabric for this one, for the fall. We will see. Even though I have some fleece in my stash, I may use that. I'm going to see how much fabric I need and then make that happen. I might be making this for the fall. Just stay tuned for that. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the next fabric. I'm sorry, the next pattern. So the next pattern is 3008, which is a missus coat and 2 lengths, or just length variations between view A and view B. Now, this is a fully lined faux fur coat. It has shawl collars, kissing front, a side seam pocket, and back vent. This pattern is an average to sew pattern. Now, this pattern reminds me of a coat that Mimi G did back in the days, McCall 7259. She did it in like this Burberry style fabric, okay? However, this reminds me of just like your open, you know, jacket, no buttons, no snaps, no... Exactly. Okay, y'all know where I was going with this. So this one is more of like I would say it's a no notion pattern, but it's not. And because in order for you to close it, you need one snap. So it is not a no notion pattern for this one. It claims that you're going to need 2 buttons as well. But this one just kind of like reminds me of one that's going to be super easy, but it's not easy when you're dealing with fur. Now I'm going to be passing on this one because y'all know your girl do not deal with fur. Period. Point blank. You're not going to. And plus, I don't live in a climate where I need to do fur. Okay? Fur is not something that I'm going to be working with. I'm just saying. Even though fur coats that I be seeing in the winter and the fall, it looks amazing. But your girl just don't work with fur. Okay? To each its own. But in terms of fabric, what type of fabric you're going to need? You're going to need some fur. It said it on the pattern, so let's go ahead and move on from there, all right? But once again, this pattern is 3008. The next pattern is 3009, and this is a jacket in 2 lengths with a bag. Now, I know you guys are probably going to love the bag from my bag girlies, okay? And I like it as well. Let's get into the pattern description. So this is an average to sew pattern. It is fully lined faux fur jacket. It have the wide collar with back cape details, lateral pockets and back pleats. And then the bag has an interior zipper and magnetic snap closure, okay? Now, I'm going to just put it out there. I probably will not be skipping this one. Instead of using fur, I probably will use a different fabric. But first, before we talk about fabric, let's talk about the pattern sizing. So in terms of pattern sizing, it's 2 envelopes, 6-14 and 16-24 on the second envelope. Now, in terms of the fabrics, you can use, of course, fur. You could use fleece, which is what your girl will be using. You can use tweed or you can use wool blends, okay? If you do view C, it has a contrast as well. And then view C, you can use cotton blends, you can use faux leather, you can use satin, you can use micro suede, whatever you want to do for that one as well. Make sure you know that this pattern comes with lining, so do not skip out on the lining fabric for this one as well. So this pattern is 3009. Let's go ahead and get into the next pattern, which is 3010, which is the Mimi G pattern, which we showed. She showed this pattern just this past week, a couple of days ago. So this is a Mrs. Knit cardigan, tank top, and skirt pattern. All right, so let's get into the pattern details. So this one is a slouchy fit cardigan. It has front button closures and wide sleeves and hemband. It features a racer back tank top, which is cropped. The skirt has elastic waistband and figure hugging fit, which comes in either a midi length with a side slit as well. All right. So, all right. Y'all know, like, listen, I love Mimi G. And I feel that this pattern is a toss up of 2 patterns. So, the first one, view A, I know Martika, and I believe it was Creativity by T. They did a collaboration for this pattern, which is Simplicity 9756. So I feel like that cardigan is similar to that. Now, let's go ahead and get into the crop tank top as well as the skirt. For the tank top, the tank top reminds me of Simplicity 9716, which Talisha from Creativity by T, she also did that pattern with Martika from Martika J Makes. They did that for a Mother's Day, I believe, is what they did that for. Let's get into the skirt. So the skirt reminds me of Simplicity 9757, which so many sewers have done, even Carmen from Black Sewing Network, and I believe LaShawn from Let's Get Social here on YouTube, So Sophisticated Design on Instagram. They did like a live of that pattern, Simplicity 9757. So I want to say, like, love Mimi G. I'm still going to pick it up because I own every last one of Mimi G's pattern. However, you can use those patterns, do a couple of hacks, and get the same thing, okay? But once again, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm still gonna pick it up because I still support, but you can use several different patterns to achieve the same look. But once again, it is an average sew pattern. It's Mimi G's pattern, 3010. Let's talk about sizing. So in terms of sizing, it's 2 pattern envelopes, 8 to 16 and 18 to 26, all right? Now, in terms of the fabric, you're going to need knit because you're gonna need something stretchy for this one as well. So you can use any type of ponte knit, sweater knit, jersey, interlock knit, rib knit, just to name a few. Make sure you test out your knit before you pick it up, okay? Stretch a knit, okay? You wanna see which way it's stretched, okay? But let's go ahead and move over to the next pattern. So the next pattern is another Mimi G pattern. It's 3011. This is the Mrs. and Woman's jumpsuit. I actually like this pattern, to be 100% honest with you. It doesn't remind me of anything at the moment that I could think of. If you know of any pattern that they remind you of, drop it in the comment section below. Let me know. But let's get into the pattern description. So this pattern is a high collar jumpsuit with front zipper opening. It has long sleeves with white cuffs, a shaped yoke, elastic at the waist, pin tucks at the legs, and side seam pockets. Now I am going to be picking this pattern up. It is an average to sew pattern. Let's go ahead and talk about pattern sizing. So in terms of pattern sizing, it's 2 envelopes, 10 to 18 on the first envelope and 20W to 28W on the second envelope. Let's go ahead and talk about fabrics. So in terms of fabric, you can use any type of stretch knit for this one, jersey knit, ponte knit, scuba knit, sweatshirt fleece would work for this one as well. You need something stretchy for this one. Now, I am going to be picking this pattern up. I think it's cute. Even though I'm not a huge fan of knits, I am not team knits whatsoever. I am strictly team woven, but once again, because I own every Mimi G's pattern, I don't care what nobody say, I'm still gonna support, I'm still gonna pick it up, okay? Because I have siblings who may want this pattern at some point in time. Plus, like I mentioned, I'm not a girl who loves to sew with knits. I will sew with knit here and there. And it may be one of those things where I get the pattern and I'm like, ooh, I want to sew this because somebody's sewing it on live or because I seen somebody hack it or whatever, you know. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the next pattern. So the next pattern is 3012, and this is a unisex hoodie. Now, I don't remember the pattern number right off the top of my head, but I know this looks like Mimi G's pattern, 95, 37, 90, it's something like that. I think it's like 95, 37, where Mimi G is on the smaller side. Aronica from Aronica Be Cole or Needle and the Bell, she's on the plus side, okay? So this reminds me of that. Like, many of the sewers have made this pattern. Let's go ahead and get into the pattern description. So this is an easy to sew oversized knit hoodie for both men and women. The hoodie comes in either short or long sleeves and have seam details. So view B have sleeve bands, hem bands, and a slit at the elbow. It is an easy to sew pattern. Now, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Even though it's easy to sew, I'm gonna say that I will probably skip this pattern, but I could see myself picking it up for my daughter because she is a queen of anything slouchy. Anything slouchy. She's the type of child that goes out the house at 105-degree weather with a hoodie on. Don't know, don't ask me why do kids do this nowadays, but it is like the new generation. But then I'm like, are you hot or are you cold? Because you're going out here with a hoodie on in 90 to 100-degree weather, but you're wearing shorts. Huh? Where's the fashion police? Let's just put it like that. But let's go ahead and get into sizing. So in terms of sizing for 3012, it's 1 pattern envelope, extra small to extra large on this one. And with this hoodie, let's talk fabrics, of course. So in terms of fabric for this one, you're gonna need some form of knit. Whether that's double knit, ponte knit, sweatshirt, bamboo, ITY, terry, sweatshirt fleece, whatever, you're going to need some form of knit. So don't skip out on the knit if you decide to make this pattern, all right? So it's 3012 is that pattern number. Let's go ahead and move over to the next pattern. So the next pattern, now we're getting into vintage patterns, and I can pretty much assure you that your girl will not be picking up any of these patterns, all right? But the first one is 3016, which is a 1950 skirt. So for my vintage lovers, this is for you. So this is a 1950 skirt. It is a flared skirt in 4 gauge and has a zipper back closure. View 1 has a raised waistline. View 1 and 2 features the large patch pockets on the skirt front. And then view 2 and 3 have a waistband at upper edge of the skirt. Now, it also features a saddle stitch trims pocket. Don't know what the heck that means, but that's what it says it features. And then that's on view 2. So, you know, back in the days, instead of just saying view A, view B, view C, they used to say view. All right, I'm sorry about that. My husband come doing the Michael Jackson. Sorry about that, y'all. But back in the days, it used to be view 1, view 2, view 3, instead of view A, view B, and view C. So this is supposed to be an easy to sew. For my vintage girlies, please comment below and let me know, like, have you ever heard of a saddle stitching trim pocket? I never heard of that, but yeah, I'm not a vintage sewer. Now, I did do a vintage Vember back in November of last year, you know, but I'm gonna keep the vintage for my vintage girlies. I do pick up vintage patterns here or there, but I think my vintage era is the 1970s, okay? I like the 1950s, but I think my all-in is 1970s. Let's go ahead and get into the sizing for this pattern. So in terms of sizing for this one, 8 to 16 on the first pattern, and then 18 to 26 on the second pattern. Of course, in terms of fabrics, any type of woven fabric of your choosing for this pattern, it could be wool, you got your cottons, your rayons, your plaids. I mean, any type of fabric of your choosing for this one. But once again, it's 3016. Let's move over to the next one. So the next pattern is 3017, and this is a missus dress with a front wrap skirt and scarf. It is a 1960s pattern for sure. Now for this one, of course, you know, your girl is going to be skipping this pattern for sure, but it is 1970s, which I like the 1970s, but I'm going to skip. But let's get into the pattern description. So this is a 1970s dress with front wrap skirt and scarf sewing pattern. So the dress with the front wrap skirt, softly gathered to the bodice. It has a back zipper, stand-up collar, and long set-in sleeves. So version 1 features the embroidered braid or ribbon trim. And then view 2 has the top stitching and button trim. View 3 has button trim, whereas view 4 has contrasting skirt and scarf, which features the French trim. They also have a version 5 that has contrasting skirt, and then version 2, 3, 4, and 5 have a purchase belt. So this must be one of those that they decided to pull out the vault. It is an authentic vintage reproduction pattern. Now, you can see from the pattern that it is basically an older pattern that they pulled out the vault and redid or whatever, right? Your girl is going to be skipping this pattern for sure. All right, let's go ahead and talk about sizing. So in terms of sizing for this one, 8 to 16 on the first pattern envelope and 18 to 26 on the second pattern envelope. In terms of the fabric, once again, any type of fabric of your choosing, whether that's crepe, double knit, flannel, You can use jersey, you can use lightweight linen, you can use PK, you can use a lot of different fabrics for this pattern. It isn't easy to sew, just to give you that, but once again, it's 3017. Let's go ahead and get over to the last pattern that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. Now, you guys know that for this video, I am not sharing any type of aprons, any type of home decor, any type of kids patterns, any type of pet patterns. I'm not sharing that in this collection because it's a lot of those patterns, okay? And in order to keep this video short, sweet, and to the point, I'm just sharing the adult pattern. So this is the last pattern, and it's 3018, which is Mrs. Pants, Skirt, and Jacket pattern. It is from the 1970s. Now, I like this pattern. However, this pattern kind of reminds me of a pattern that I did for Vintage Vember. And if I remember correctly, that pattern is McCall's 8257, where I did like this tie front blouse and some pants, okay? So let's go ahead and get into this pattern. It is a 1970 unlined jacket, skirt, wide leg pants sewing pattern. So the wide leg pants and the 6 gorged, right? Flared skirt have back zippers and waistband. So the jacket features long sleeve or short sleeve. It's up to you what type of sleeve you want. It comes with a set-in sleeve, which is gathered to the armhole. It has a shawl collar and optional button trim or chain and button closure. So the sleeves feature slits at the sleeves, which can be turned back and trimmed with buttons. It is an authentic pattern for sure. Now for the pants, I like it. For view A, the pants, it looks like it has a all-purpose zipper, or, you know, center back zipper, I should say. For this one, you can use a invisible zipper, but I'm gonna say for these pants, you might want to use a all-purpose or exposed zipper. So, I mean, this pattern is cute, but I think I would skip this pattern for sure. Let's talk about sizing. So in terms of the sizing for this pattern, is 2 envelopes, 6 to 14 on the first one and 16 to 24 on the second pattern envelope. When it comes to fabric, you can use any type of fabric of your choosing. Once again, you can use your cottons, you can use your poplins, you can use your chambray, challis, cotton knit, double knit, gabardine, just to name a few of the fabrics that you can use for this pattern. Now, that is completely all of the patterns in this collection that are adult-based patterns. I highly advise you to go over to simplicity.com, score you some $4.99 patterns. So guess what? Then you don't have to wait for Joann's to get them in when, you know, even though they're dropping them now, some of your stores still don't have the summer patterns. And you know, your girl is impatient. I don't feel like waiting. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over to Simplicity. As of the recording of this video, I have already purchased some, which I will share with you guys in an upcoming video of the ones that I purchased, okay? And tell you why I purchased them and which ones will be coming up for the fall, early fall into fall, all right? Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. And if this video was educational, inspiring, and fun, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button. Also, smash that notification bell so you are notified every time your girl uploads a new video. So I'll catch you in the next video. And as always, keep sewing.